Hi everyone. Well, here we are again. A whole 12 months have flown by since Floppy arrived, and he's still here. Originally, he came as a foster who was meant to move on to a forever home, and he's become a permanent feature and he is still keeping us all on our toes. So let's take a look at what he's been getting up to over the last 3 months since our last update. Thinking about life inside the house, Floppy is still very attached to his crate and gets quite upset if he wants to go in his crate and he can't. That has been an issue on a few occasions because Meggie also likes to sit in his crate and then he gets quite worried. We have also had a few incursions into the front room, which is forbidden territory.
This is why you don't get to stand on there.
And there have been a couple of wet nappies as a result of this. He will also pee if I need to go out unexpectedly. And thinking back about other dogs that I've had, this is the longest I've had this go on for, this issue around toilet training. I think previously the longest it's taken for a dog to become clean in the house is maybe 6 months. So he is the new record holder for this. It's very much about anxiety with him. He is very different to the other dogs in that respect. Some will chew, some will make a noise, some will pee, and Floppy's a peer. He's also really quite attached to me, and he's more settled when I'm in than when I'm out. If someone else is there and I'm not, he's not as settled as if I am. So with that in mind, I do try to leave him on a regular basis as I don't want him to get to the point where he can't cope when I'm not there. When it comes to going out, we seem to have regressed. This is not an area where I can tell you there's been progress. So 3 months ago, he seemed to be doing pretty well. We'd found a manageable route around the local area. Okay, it did involve me driving a few minutes away to start in a quieter location. Hello. And that seemed to be a big help. But that has now changed. And we've had a few occasions when dogs have come into sight just before I've managed to get him in the car or while he's in the car and I haven't driven off yet. And this has become a big trigger for him. It's got to the point that he was bouncing around barking at absolutely everything we passed, even things that weren't even there, just things he imagined might be there. He would no longer lie down in the back seat, and he was in such a state that it was proving really traumatic for both of us. So I did try taking him to a secure field, thinking that that would be a quiet place to walk. And yes, the field itself was great. However, the journey wasn't. Even without seeing any dogs on the way or before we got in the car, he was still very agitated by the journey itself. And every time he's triggered in this way, it's reinforcing the bad memories and making him worse. So that reaction was starting to generalize. Initially, it was when he heard or saw another dog, and it moved on to happening as soon as we came out of the gate to go to the car. I don't currently have off-road parking, so I don't have the luxury of being able to pop him into the car without having to run the gauntlet of, will we meet a dog on the pavement? And in the car, he started barking at people, not just at people with dogs, and then just at things that weren't even there. So it basically got to the point where we stopped walking altogether because we couldn't actually leave the house and garden without him having a problem. And we didn't leave for about a month. And then I tried him on a couple of short walks from the house going just round the block, and it went okay, but I found it really quite stressful in case he saw something and we were back to square one. And it was clear that he found it stressful as well because he was very alert the whole time, even if we didn't see anything. He's still very good at staying with me. So if I did spot something before he did, then it wasn't an issue to move him away, to change direction and basically run away from it. But even if he smelt something, there was one wonderful occasion when he did not see the dog, he did not hear the dog was totally minding its own business, but he must have smelt it and he totally lost the plot. So even smelling a dog was too much. And it's really no fun for him. It's really no fun for me walking with him on that sort of high alert. So what have we done? Over the last few weeks, I've tried putting him and Gandalf in the car just a couple of times a week and driving out of the city altogether to somewhere very quiet. We've parked up on a quiet country road and we've just had a little wander along there. And I'm pleased to say that so far he's been quite happy with that. And the last time we went, he even lay down and snoozed on the way back in the car. So that is big progress. So you might remember that when Floppy first arrived, he had a kind of wild-eyed look about him, a dreadful case of kennel coat, an obsession with chewing any sort of fabric items he could get hold of. And now, as we can see, he's really quite sleek and shiny. And although the year has started to put a few silver flecks into his face, he has quite a thick, healthy coat, and he seems quite happy wearing a fleece now, and I tuck him up in a blanket as well at night when it's cold. Chewing balls is his favourite go-to activity when it comes to letting off some steam, and I can see why he struggled in kennels, because when I come down in the morning and let him out, he wants to dash up and down the garden a few times, but then he needs to find a ball to chew, and if he is anxious at any time, he looks for a ball that he can chew on, and that seems to soothe him a lot. He does like me to throw a ball for him, but just once or twice is fine. If you throw the ball, that serves as a way of getting him back in the house, because he will bring it in, settle down and chew it. He also finds that it's helping him in those difficult situations. And of course, in kennels, there were a lot of difficult situations, and he wouldn't have been able to use his preferred method of self-soothing to help with that. So I'm not surprised that he took out his pent-up energy and anxiety out by chewing the bedding or a coat in the kennels, because there just wasn't anything else to chew. And as this video clip shows, he is one smart cookie. So he knows how to take things off and he can remove them should he want to. And as well as this treatment he gave to his thunder shirt, he has been able to take off fleeces in his crate if he hasn't wanted to wear them. But interestingly, they have not been chewed. I've always felt that the brighter dogs struggle more. I've had a few who found the kennel environment really quite stressful, and that showed up either as destructiveness or obsessive behaviours. And other dogs might actually be more comfortable there or appear not to mind. But for these particular dogs, just that environment to be in was very, very difficult. Anyway, he's out now and he won't be going back. I seem to have come full circle, taking on dogs who are really quite damaged goods and have a life-changing impact on us in a variety of ways. There are things it would be lovely to be able to do, and it's just not possible with a dog like this. So instead, we make compromises and we do our best to provide him with the life that he needs, a life that he can enjoy. So that's our update at the end of Floppy's first year. We'll be back again soon with more for you. Bye for now. Okay. What's that doing, Mr. Floppy? Oh.
Look out for new videos every Monday, and why not subscribe so you don't miss out?